What is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. My name is Max Tuning. This is actually a follow-up to my previous video where I talked about watches, and I talked about how I got a lot of them used on eBay, and I got a crazy amount of questions asking me what I meant about sniping on eBay and how I got these good deals on eBay. So we're just gonna dive right into this, but one disclaimer I wanna say is that although this technique is extremely simple in theory, you really need to probably watch this video 2 to 3 times before it clicks and you're like, oh, that's so simple, it's so easy. So without further ado, we're just not even gonna do an intro, but sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The first thing that I wanna mention is that there are 3 basic guidelines or rules about the way that I go about thinking about this. Rule number 1 is establish the absolute maximum you're willing to pay for an item. If you are willing to spend $200 on something, that is the cap. Do not be upset if you lose an item to $205 because you only put $200 as your cap. So figure out the absolute last dollar you're willing to drop on this item, which leads into number 2, and that is be okay with failing, be okay with losing an item. The way that I go about this, these items do not always pop up. You're not just gonna hop on eBay and this is gonna happen every single time. You need to consistently check, know what you're looking for, and when one falls into the right situation, that is where we are gonna do this technique. So that will lead into guideline or rule number 3, and that is you never bid on the item until the absolute last second. Do not do this technique if you're not going to be around your phone or computer in the final seconds of this bid. Do not bid on an item on eBay until the absolute last second. Crucial, crucial, crucial. That is like the biggest mistake I see people do is they see an item, they like it, they're like, oh, bid on it right now, it has 6 days left. No. Okay, now in a great hypothetical situation, you're gonna stumble across an item that you want that has a current low bid and few amount of days left, mainly because that gives less amount of time for people to bid. So let's say you're searching for a watch and you stumble across this one, which I did way back in the day, and you find that this is just exactly what you want. The first thing you're gonna do is notice that it has a great starting price point. Let's say the watch is currently at $50 and it only has 3 days left. That is a great situation, okay? First thing you're gonna do is establish the most you're willing to spend on this watch. Let's say it is $200. So if this watch goes above $200, you are gonna walk away, you're gonna lose, and you're gonna be okay, and you're gonna continue your hunt on eBay for X amount of time. So establish your price point, $200, the bid is at 50, 3 days left. All you're going to do is add the item that you want, in this case the watch, to your watch list, and that just goes into a different section on eBay basically where you can see items you're interested in. That is all you are going to do, is add it to your watch list, nothing else. You are not bidding on it, and then we will come back in the final hours that this item is up for auction. That is all you do for the first step. Okay, for step number 2, all you're gonna do is check in on the item at about, let's say, an hour before the item is ending. And in a great situation, let's say the item has only gone from $50 up to $80, let's say. A great situation. It's only gone up a little bit amount of money and it only has an hour left. So step number 2 is simply to check in on the item. If it has gone above the most you're willing to spend, you walk away. Step number 2, check in, it's at $80 now. Step number 3 is where it gets fun. Okay, now step number 3 is where things get very, very interesting and your adrenaline will start to pump. When there are 5 minutes left in the item auction, you are going to get your computer or your phone. I'd highly recommend a computer over a phone. And you're gonna sit down and you're gonna watch this item tick down in time until it gets to 0. During the last 5 minutes is generally when people are gonna start bidding on the item. Your enemies, right? The other people that want this item. So let's say that the bid goes up to $100. So now the item is currently at $100. The most you were willing to spend is $200, so you still have $100 in your budget. You're doing great. So in the last 30 seconds of this item, what you're gonna do is type in the $200, the most you're willing to spend, in the place bid section. You're gonna hit place bid with 30 seconds left. That will open the confirmation window. A lot of people miss this and then they wait too long and they screw this part up. So hit the place bid, it'll open a second window with a confirmation bid. So it still says $200 and 30 seconds is ticking, ticking, ticking down, and that is where we move into step 4. the finale of this thing. Okay, for the fourth step, you are going to wait until there are 2 seconds left in this auction. Not 10 seconds, not 8 seconds. You're gonna hold out and wait until it says 2 seconds in that confirmation window before you click confirm. Okay, a lot of people do this and they do it at 10 seconds, and that gives the other people enough time to change their bid. You are gonna put in the entire $200 even though the item is only at 100, because you need to understand how eBay auctions work. So let's say the current bid is at $100 and you bid 200, but you're not gonna have to pay all 200 of those dollars if the person under you maximum bid was 100, okay? It's only gonna go up by a certain percent, let's just say to 110, but you're putting in the most you are willing to spend, and that is the biggest thing. If you just put in $105 in the last 2 seconds, but in reality the person under you bid like 110, then you are gonna lose. You put in your biggest dollar amount, the most you're willing to spend with 2 seconds left, and if all goes well, you just won yourself a new watch. So that is how you snipe on eBay, and I know it seemed really confusing, but some of the biggest mistakes I see people do is A, bid on an item when there's a couple days left, because there's no reason why you should be doing that, okay? Because you need to be able to watch this item. If you're going away on vacation, I probably wouldn't bid on an eBay item, okay? I would just go for like a buy now. So the biggest mistake I see people do is they bid on an item way too early. And the second is when they try to snipe, they don't understand that eBay doesn't make you pay the full amount you're bidding. It only makes you beat the previous bid by a small percentage, whatever it is. So you always put in the most you are willing to spend, okay? Those are the two errors that I see people do, and you can be getting things for a whole lot cheaper if you do my method. Another kind of tip is look for items that are that have the end time as like weird times in the day. So I generally look, if there's an item I really want, I would target an item that ends at like 4 in the morning East Coast time, and I'll wake up and do this process that early in the morning, because generally not everyone, I mean, a lot of people know this, but like not everyone's gonna wake up at 4 in the morning, or 1 in the morning if you're on California time or wherever. Just try to pick a weird time. So that's the absolute best situation for this. But again, these things don't happen every single time. I've had great luck doing this with many items. I'd highly recommend this. It works fantastic as long as there's not someone else just like you doing the exact same thing. Or I wouldn't advise this because this costs money, but there are actually sniping programs that do everything I just mentioned in like the last millisecond, but you have to pay for the program to do that. So it kind of defeats the purpose of saving money by paying money to save money. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, watch it like 2 or 3 times. I promise it will make sense. It is so simple. In theory, all you're doing, max bidding at the absolute last second. I could have made like a 2-second video, right? But it really does work. Thank you guys. Hope you understood this. If you have any questions, leave them down below. See you later.